Hey guys, welcome to my December garden tour. This month has been an absolutely crazy one. You're not going to want to miss all of the exciting things that have been going on. We are in summer now, but today it's only 23 degrees Celsius, so it's a beautiful day to be out here. The weather has been so weird this year. It's 23 today, it was 39 last week. It's 40 again on Thursday, and then it goes back down to 24. It's been up and down. Bird just tried to give me a heart attack. I didn't really realize how hard the seasonal depression had hit me until the sun had come out, and now I've been out in the garden so much. I feel so good. It's beautiful. Plants are growing, the flowers are blooming. It's fantastic. I'm going to jump straight into showing you. There is one thing I've mentioned in all of my garden tours that I want to get around to, but I haven't, and I finally have, with the help of my mum, who did most of it for me when I was procrastinating. She used to have a really big garden, but now she's moved into a small townhouse. So she comes over and she's like, what can I do? Let me move things. So she picks up a shovel and does the things that I haven't got around to doing for me. So we'll go have a look at that one first. My side garden is finally empty. There's nothing here. It's so boring and bland, but the soil here was just terrible and everything did so badly, and it's all doing so well now that it's been moved. If you have watched my other garden tours, you would know I've been putting off this task for months. Now that it's done, it's fantastic. We don't use this side bit other than where we park our car. No one ever sees it. The soil's terrible and my hose doesn't reach back here very well, so I just never watered it enough. So there's no reason to have anything here until I've used all the space for the rest of the garden, and then obviously I'm going to come back to this. I'll show you where I put all of those plants down the back soon and how well they're doing, but for now I'll show you my pergola area and my pot plants, because that's also changed quite a lot. You want to come out? My golden pothos looks pretty much the same as always, but it is growing out the back. I keep chopping it, but it keeps coming back. I moved one of my monsteras from inside to outside. It does need a bigger pot though, because I can't keep the water in it to save my life. And I did repot. Ignore the rubbish. I did repot my Aurea, and so far it's done okay. I get so nervous repotting plants because they just always curl up and die on me. I avoid it as long as I possibly can, but it seems happy so far. So I moved this shelf from inside my house because I don't want it anymore, and I'm just putting so far some propagations, but eventually there'll be more on it. But I think it makes it look more, it kind of blends the indoor with the outdoor, so I can have this area as a more usable space like I've said I wanted for a long time. And we also, excusing the mess, we've got some cuttings and some decorations on the table, again to try to bring the inside from my dining to the outside, so it can be one area and we can spend more time out here because we all enjoy it. My big monstera is still not doing anything at all, and neither are these three trailing. I think they need bigger pots. I'm struggling to keep water in them as much as they need, I think. Now along the front, I have some cuttings that I've potted up, and this was that Australian native tree that I mentioned I wanted to put in a pot in my last episode, and I did, and it doesn't like it. I've lost it, and I think it's covered in spider mites now that I'm looking at it. That might be a spider mite problem. So I think that's a bin job, that one. The grapevine is doing crazy. It's almost we've almost got it so it can go down the fence. It's almost there. The caterpillars are all gone too. We picked all of them off and they haven't come back, so that's good. The umbrella tree has got a bunch of succulents in the bottom now, so I can try to cover up the dirt that looks terrible. Potted up some more of those cuttings that were all over the floor last time. And then I've started some seedlings. It's all just like herbs and veggies and stuff. Oh, we got a little buddy. Got a little buddy. Little spider friend. But yeah, a couple of them are coming up, which is cute. I think there's some like lettuce and oregano is coming up. There's some cuttings that I took while I was on a walk with my daughter. So I popped them in some pots. Oh no. That might be spider mites too. We've got to sort that out. The native hibiscus is growing crazy. It still hasn't got any flowers on it, which is quite a shame, but we'll sort out the spider mites that I've just found and maybe we might get something. I potted up a bunch more cuttings down here. These are all just the same sort of, I took all of these cuttings from this tree looking succulent over here, and they've all been put in a pot. This is a little capsicum seedling. These are my date palm. They are self-seeded date palms from my mum's old house. I kind of like plucked them out of the ground when she moved so I could take. And then there's been a little volunteer alocasia in there, which is very cute. I love when they just pop up. This is a whole mix mash of all sorts of different cuttings and things. That was in the pile of things I got for free in the last video. And then a sword fern that was left over from one of the moves. It was just a tiny little piece and I just shoved it in the pot to see how it would go, and it's doing very well. My other umbrella tree is shooting from the bottom quite a lot now, which is good. I'd love them to bush up. This was another one of those things that came for free in that group in last month's. It's a yucca, but it's one of the huge wide ones, not a normal yucca like this one. And I've just repotted that. Another pot of those same succulents, the normal yucca, and then this one this was part of the free group as well, but it came in this pot and I didn't want to take it out because it looks really pretty just as it is. And then I still have this begonia that I am yet to put down the back like I've been saying I'm going to for months, but I just haven't yet. That is all for the pergola area. So now I guess we'll just work from front to back through the flower garden before we finally get to the tropical side of it. We'll start from this side with the fruit trees. The oranges are going crazy. They responded really well to that prune, which is fantastic. They're getting huge now. I don't know what I'm going to do with all of them. The nectarines are the same. I keep cutting them off at head level, which is about here, but they keep growing back down, so I need to do that again. There are so many nectarines all over this. I don't even know what I'm going to do with them all. All the sunflowers we have scattered around are doing great. This one's getting a head on it already and the other ones aren't. But it is the biggest one. I don't know why this one has done so much better than all the rest. It's really interesting to see their growth rate in different spots. Umbellata's doing as good as always. This part is just filling in so well. We've actually got some mandarins finally. Only a few though. Not as many as the other trees, but I did prune this one too far back, and when I did snap that branch off like I mentioned in the last video, I don't think it liked that very much. And then underneath it, this area is just, I don't know why the plants do so well here, but they just absolutely love it. The lavender is growing crazy, same with the African daisies. And I started putting some succulent cuttings in here, like I said I was going to do, to try to kind of blend the garden through the rocks rather than covering or removing the rocks. And they're doing also very well. There's little babies popping up. They've taken fantastically to this spot. So have the weeds. I still have, now there's a helicopter. The snapdragons are still flowering in here, which is so odd considering all the snapdragons in the other parts of the garden have completely finished and are seeding. But this one's just meep, 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 meep. It's just doing so well. The philodendrons slowed down quite a lot, My other one down the back has not slowed down and the leaves are getting so much bigger. I think the sun does get to this one a lot more than the other. This one also flowered and the other one didn't, even though this one isn't as big. So it's really interesting to see the differences in the growth. Has got one flower left. I did cut all the rest off though. I was going to try to pollinate them, but there's not a lot of information out there. Honestly, it just was a little bit overwhelming and difficult for me. So maybe next year we'll give that a go. The succulent tree is huge. However, it looks really ugly and bare because it got so heavy. It's all drooped out. So the middle's really bare. I'm going to try to prune it and get it to bush up again in the middle. More sunflowers. The nasturtium has taken off like crazy. I've been taking a bunch of cuttings from this plant so that I can put them in around the pots under the pergola. I did take out all of the asylum that was in here because it's just so ugly. I would like to have more nasturtium throughout it and get some variegated and some different colors. I think that would be great. Cosmos is popping through everywhere. My potatoes are doing terribly here, but it's not the right time of year for them. The weeds are also taking over. We got rid of all of the asylum here as well, as good as we could. Obviously, it's popping up everywhere. It's like a weed, but eventually we'll get rid of it, I hope. My daughter's been drawing on the steps. The yucca is still doing great. It started all the way here and then it fell over and it was about that big when I got it. And I thought it would grow upwards, but it's just continued along the ground. Down here, I've taken a lot of the dichondra out of this spot, hence the gross, weird-looking ground. This was covering all of it, but I've moved it to the path down the back. There's still more I have to move, but that's my current project. There was also a big fern here that I've moved, but there's little bits still everywhere, so that'll come back anyways. And now this is more open. I got to clean it up and get rid of some weeds, but this is where my daughter likes to play. This is her little play area. Still have the flowering spring onion as always. The cosmos are completely taking over in here. The sunflowers are all doing very well back here as well. We're losing a bunch of the annual flowers, but that's okay. They'll come back next year. We have a new passion fruit plant that I got given from my mum on my birthday. So hopefully this will grow up the old hills hoist and cover it, acting as a bit of a shade. This is my daughter. She is the mastermind behind the flower garden. This is her fairy garden. And all the little trinkets and things that you see throughout the gardens, they're her doing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like a little living teepee. It's so pretty. I love it. And the flowers are gorgeous. And obviously the fruit is fantastic. And then I have more potatoes. It's not the right time of year, but they were growing in my pantry. So I just put them in the ground anyways because they weren't going to be used. So why not, right? We have Lily of the Valley, I believe it's called. In here, it did get a couple of flowers and then they died, but then it sent off these big shoots with more. I think it is honestly one of the most gorgeous flowers to have ever existed. This is one of the swan trees, the milkweeds, and my daughter actually watched a monarch butterfly land on it and lay its little eggs. So you can see here, she watched it happen, and now we have little caterpillars. Look.
Oh my god. Oh.
We got some. I like to keep this plant in here and leave the caterpillars because we like watching them grow and then turn into butterflies, don't we?
Yeah, and so they now that we have this plant, they won't eat our other plants because we weren't okay with them before we known that we had this one, but when we had this one, we're okay with them because they'll eat this one.
Yeah, they don't really leave this plant, do they? They just like to chill there.
Yeah, they just chill in one spot.
And my gladioles. I've spoken about these in multiple of my tours. First, I didn't know what they were, and then I found out what they were, and now look. Oh, they are just the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Absolutely stunning. And we've got another one coming through here and another one back there. So I'm excited to see if they're the same color or if they're different to this one.
It's just so pretty, and like how the color kind of changes inside of here.
Yeah, and what's this? You chose these ones.
This
These are yours.
is watermelons.
These are watermelons we've planted.
They've been doing so good. I'm ready to have them.
You're ready to eat them?
Yeah.
Oh, and then we have the tomato. We have the tomato, which has got a bunch of actual tomatoes.
Oh, yeah, they're actually getting so huge. I didn't even know they were there until this video.
And then this one's starting to get tomatoes, and there's more flowers up here. So now these plants here we mentioned in the last one. What have we got here, kiddo?
These are peas. They're doing extremely well. I picked one off over here.
Yeah, and what did you think of the taste?
Yuck.
I have some frangipani cuttings in here, or some plumerias. I don't think they're dying. They're not rotting. Feels like it's rooting in, but we're yet to get any growth, and everybody else's are growing at this time of year. So hopefully they start soon, but they're not dying. However, this little bird of paradise, that one isn't doing too great. It's seen better days. Then we just have some more veggies. There's some cucumbers, some spinach, some carrots, things like that. And then I have some more potatoes in a pot that I'm actually making a video on. They're doing the best out of all of my potatoes. So now the fun part, the bit I love talking about, my favorite piece to the puzzle. The tropical part. This has had a lot of changes this month, and we've moved all the plants from the back down here. I got a couple of things for my birthday. We'll start from the sunny side and move down. So this is the side that gets all of the sun, and as you know from all of my videos, I've been struggling to know what to do here because everything burns. But I think I'm starting to work it out. So I have divided up a whole bunch of the mondos and planted them out as a border, and I've mulched it to try to keep some moisture in this ground. We've moved the agapanthus from the other side of the garden over here, so hopefully we could get some flowers for the first time because they were getting completely shaded out. And then throughout there's just some succulents around to try to fill in some gaps. I still don't know what this plant is. I say that every single month, but we moved it over here and it's doing well. It's taking a little bit of a hit from the sun, but it does fine. I've scattered some succulents throughout because they can handle the sun and the heat and the dry. We moved the big aloe over here as well. The flower is done for, but it just kind of fills in this space finally. We haven't had anything here for so long. I wasn't sure how the alocasias would do, but they were just corms when I popped them in here, and they're doing great. So they should, when they grow, fill in this awkward gap that we have. I moved the locust tree back a little bit and it took quite a hit. I thought it would recover really well, but it hasn't yet, which I'm really, really worried about. Hope I haven't killed it. We have another succulent I chucked in here. The mondo grasses, the mini mondos are starting to flower, but the normal ones aren't. They just have the most beautiful little flower.
They are very pretty.
Aren't
They're
they?
like a purple, like very light purple.
Yeah.
It's gotten so pretty.
You're so pretty. And then in behind this succulent, we have the Thai, which has put out a new leaf again. I thought it would burn in the sun, but it hasn't yet. So I am still on standby. If it doesn't like the sun, I'll move it. But for the time being, it's doing okay. I can't remember the name of this one. I say I'm going to look it up every time, but I haven't. That is getting huge. I did take some cuttings so I can move it around my garden too. And in behind it, my fig is finally taking off. It's finally doing something. That will be good if it could fill in this annoying space here. We have a sword fern doing good. That one has been yellow since I put it in there, but it's finally starting to recover, I think. And then this alocasia has got this new massive leaf and it's pushing another one. We're getting yet another new leaf. Sorry, the sun is really annoying. Another new leaf on Bird of Paradise. This thing is getting huge. I thought it would get a lot taller than it has though, but obviously it's very healthy, so it's just getting very bushy and not very tall. These two alocasias are also starting to do really well. In my last tours, these were not doing very well, and I thought that they were going to die, if I'm completely honest, but now they're doing better than any of the other ones actually.
So after this video, go check out that one to see how bad they were doing before and seeing how they improved.
Spider plants have taken off back there as well. I'd like to add something for some height back there eventually, but for now I just don't really have anything. Snake plants in here. I can't remember if that was in here last time, but I have put a bunch of snake plants throughout the garden. Happy plant is happy as always. This alocasia is getting huge for its type. I didn't realize it would. It's putting another new leaf yet again. Fern in here is doing okay. My canna lily is finally starting to grow. I was very worried. Everybody else's are huge and have flowers by now, but at least it's growing, so I'm happy. I got given some banana palms, so I've just got them sitting out here adapting to the area before I plant them. I'm not really sure where I want them in here, that they won't absolutely take over, but they're here for the time being. And then in front of the cannas, we have this cordyline that's always looked terrible. You would have seen it a million times looking horrible. And it's actually starting to do so well. I never have any luck with cordylines, but finally it's starting to do something. I just love the pinks in it. It's stunning. We have the ornamental onion that is putting out another flower. Throughout here, we've put a bunch of succulents like the other side. We have mixed in some philodendrons and things throughout it. A bird just peed on me. Thanks, Mr. Magpie.
Individually. Individually. They just add a whole light shine. So like every plant in this garden you will see today just makes the whole place glow.
So this side also gets that heat, and so far they've been doing really well with the sun, and I think the succulents tie really well in with the tropical side of it. It's hard to try to get the sun and the dry with the humid area at the back, but I think we're working it out. This pathway we've got to fix up eventually, but it's a work in progress. We have a philodendron. This here is where this plant was, so we moved that from here. In here there's another different type of alocasia. Please excuse the fact that I know absolutely no names of any of the alocasias. It's not my specialty whatsoever. And I did notice that there's a begonia popping up in here. I only noticed it yesterday. How cute is that? I didn't even know there was one in there. We have a little, this is like a ground running aloe that I got in that bunch of free succulents. So that's very exciting to see. It's quite cute. There's another aloe in here that also flowered, but this one's died back. Tradescantia is coming back. I thought I pulled it all out, but obviously I didn't. So that'll have to go again. There's an anthurium that obviously doesn't like the sun, so that's going to have to get moved deeper into the garden, but it's got a little tiny flower. How cute is that? Now there was a little alocasia in here as well, but obviously he's not taking to the sun too great. Then the Schefflera is taking off as well. I'm thinking about chopping it so it bushes up rather than keeps growing tall, but it's very beautiful in there. Everything in here is getting shaded in from my big philodendron again. I just hard pruned it. I made a short on it if you haven't seen it. but now it's just doing it again, so I guess I'm gonna have to do that. But I'll show you the philodendron better when we get into it. This monstera has given me a huge new leaf, massive new leaf. Last year in the heat waves it got cooked back to a crisp, but it's grown back in well, so I assume it'll get cooked again this year, but it obviously recovers, so that's okay. And in behind it, the bird of paradise is finally starting to get some height to it and pop through. I was going to move it, but I'm thinking now I might just leave it because it kind of just looks good popping through it. However, there are a lot of babies on it that I wouldn't mind taking off and moving so I can have them around. This begonia, as always, just doesn't stop. I cut the flowers off like every week, but they just keep going no matter what I do. This was another little succulent I got for free. I think it adds a little bit of a different color. There's a lot of greens. I'm trying to add some silvers and some yellows, but this should really pop through against the greens. And this was the doing of this little miss. The snake plant is grouping quite a lot. It's got these new pups everywhere filling in. This prayer plant gets quite a little bit of sun here, so I didn't think it was gonna survive as well as it has. This was just popping back up from its dormancy in my last tour, and now it's taken off again, which is good. These mondos are getting quite big, so I can separate these up and move them around again now, which is good. In behind it, there's a lily that's just popping up now. It's probably the saddest lily you've ever seen. Another elephant ear we've moved in here from around the side. This snake plant gets attacked by something. I'm not sure what eats it, but something's been eating it. However, it is throwing out little pups, which is great. This philodendron this is the one I was saying. So the one up the front has much smaller leaves, but it's flowering. And this one hasn't got a single flower. However, the size of the leaf is just huge. About the same size as a 6-year-old. So this is getting absolutely huge. However, it's not flowering. But these bottom leaves got to come off again, so that because they're shading out all the other plants. This prayer plant is bushing up quite a lot in here too. It does get very sad at times. I don't know if it needs more water than it's getting, but it's okay. Orchid in there is doing great. We put a syngonium from around the side in here, thinking it would take off, but it's kind of just died back. It's not really done anything. There's a magic bean, and the philodendron silver sword is doing very well back there. We added in, I don't know why, but my mind has gone completely blank. I can't remember what this is called, and it's very much annoying me, but we popped that in there for some height. And then the sword fern is in there as well, and there's some monsteras, and there's something very exciting in there I'll show you when we get further around. But it's added some height and a bit of a gap to this area. So the clivias are doing the same as always. Fantastic. They don't stop. So I mentioned in the last video that we wanted to put a path here and fill it in, and we finally started that process. So once this is all filled with, and it's taken pretty well. We only did it a couple of days ago, and we have had some significant heat, so it should do absolutely fine. All right, back here, this is what I'm excited about. I put in a monstera elbow cutting, and it's got a new leaf. I was so nervous putting it out here, but it likes it, and I'm very excited. There's some normal monsteras in there as well, but they haven't grown, which is actually really odd. We have the confetti syngonium is getting very bushy. That's starting to take off. More of these. I can't believe I've forgotten the name of them. That's very annoying. This one's got the pinks and the whites through it. We've added in this little palm from around the side garden, as well as these. They should grow nice and tall against the fence. Oh, we made a vertical garden. So I had this hanger inside my house that I didn't really use. It was on the back of my robe door. So I thought to hang it up and pop some plants in it. And I'm so glad I did. It kind of, from back here, there's just this awkward gap that looked terrible. So once that fills in, it's gonna fill in a little bit of this ugly fence that I really haven't known what to do with, and I can't paint it because I'm in a rental. So we thought of this, and it's doing great so far. I can't wait to fill it in even more. We moved the ornamental ginger back from up here, and I think it's way too shaded for it. I mean, it's still doing okay, but it's not growing anywhere near as fast as it was. So I might have to try to find somewhere a bit sunnier for it. A different type of snake plant. These, the prayer plants are all doing well in here as well. We put a snow queen pothos from around the side garden to try to fill in the ground a little bit more. This alocasia is doing very well. This is a different type to this one, which I didn't know when they were babies. So it's cool to have some different variants of the greens. Pink syngonium in there, seen better days. We moved this peace lily from the side garden, and it did get a bit of transplant shock, but it is now starting to grow. It didn't look too good for a while, but it is coming back. We've moved this calathea from the sun to here, and it's so much happier than it was. As you would know from my last videos, this one was it was this dead tiny little thing that I got on clearance for like $5. That was the best purchase I've made. I don't know what this is called, but it's the brightest color that I have in the whole garden. I would love to propagate it and put more throughout it. It was just dead sticks when I put it in here, and it just must love this spot because it's now not. We have a little alocasia popping up. There's little alocasias popping up absolutely everywhere. Parlor palm is taking over everything underneath it. There's a prayer plant I've got to try to move out from underneath it to fill in a gap somewhere else, and a dragon's tail in there that was very far away from this originally, but it is starting to take over it. So we got to do some moving around. The big elephant ear is starting to shoot pups everywhere, so it's bushying up, which looks great. However, I am going to take a few and put them in different spots because I know that this particular one is a great grower, and so it'd be nice to have its pups somewhere else. Another begonia doing fantastically. We have a little volunteer plant that came up. I think it's a dragon's tail. The elephant ear has finally come back. I was so worried about it in a few of my last tours, but obviously the bad leaves that I got and that little scare, it was just winter. I thought it was something I had done, but it was just winter dormancy. Underneath it there was a little fern, but it did so badly, so I moved it. It just was never happy there, so I put this little succulent instead. There's quite a slope here, so, and the soil's obviously not very good, so all the water when I water the garden just runs straight off of this part, so it's quite dry. The fern just never liked that, so I'm hoping that this one will adapt better to those conditions, and I think the color just complements everything here really well. I put some little variegated alocasia corms from my one that I have inside because it died back inside and I didn't know what to do with it. I thought I'd lost it, so I chucked it outside, and that normally works, and it has. So I have some little variegated alocasias coming up. Another prayer plant taking off. We've moved this sword fern or Boston fern. It's a different variant to the other types that are throughout the garden. This was inside my dining room, but got a little bit big for the space. It was taking over, so it was time to move it out here. In behind it, we have another one of the dark, I think it's a cardinal philodendron, black cardinal maybe. This was in my side garden that we'd moved around here. And it's nice to have a little bit of a color change because everything's been so green. So that was a nice addition. And then the garden gnome that my daughter was telling you about, we have Queso's Shut Up Loser garden gnome. He's my favorite streamer, and I got this for my birthday from my family. It's so cute. I love him. He's fantastic in there. We have a pilea doing fantastic. They did die back over winter, but taking off now. And then there is the fantasy growing throughout it all. bird's nest fern is growing as rapidly as always. I got a hydrangea given to me for my birthday as well. That was another one of my birthday presents to add some color in this garden. I've been wanting to add some flowers, but I haven't known what with. And I just think hydrangeas look so tropical with the big green leaves, and the flowers are just, oh, they're just something to die for, honestly. Big peace lily is still just there. It's not really, it's more surviving than thriving, to be honest. There's a little volunteer fig that I need to take out, but he's doing okay for the time being. And this alocasia, I think he came from the side as well, and it's put out all 3 of these new leaves. There was some on it, but they all died off. And look at the size difference between the first leaf and the third, and that's just in about a month. So very happy out here. Now this is the sword fern that I moved from this garden over here. Took a little bit of a hit, but it's doing great. I put a whole bunch of plants around it, and now I've realized how much the sword fern would take over. I didn't think it was going to grow as quickly and as wide as it has, so it's completely covered everything here. So now I'm gonna have to move them all back out again, but it's okay. We got a pilea. Oh, look. We got a little friend saying hello. There's a little silver sword in under here. My bromeliad we moved over here. What else did we move over to this side? Obviously, we moved all of the mondo grasses. We divided up a bunch from the other side and moved them over here as a border. What else did we pop in here? Some succulents for a little bit of a silver tinge to it all. There's another pilea in there. I think, oh, there's mozzies everywhere. I think this was a philodendron as well. I'm not sure. There's some mini mondos in there as well. There's so much. I'm going to have to take it all back out. Did not expect that fern to grow like it did. We put the Xanadu from the side in here, which so far it hasn't grown yet, but around the side it never did anything. So I really hope that it has a chance to thrive in here. This alocasia popped up on its own, and this was the fern that was in front of the big elephant ear over there, and it quite obviously likes this home a lot better. And then there's just a little aloe cutting in here as well. In behind here, I also got this for my birthday. My family bought me a Fatsia japonica, and I cannot explain to you how excited I am about it. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It's taking great to it, and it's going to look fantastic there. We also moved this. This was the massive dragon's tail from around the side garden, popped it in here and let its runners go. So it's kind of moving off into the garden and filling in this gap very well. Dragon tree's actually getting some new growth to it, which is great. Another pilea in here and in here. Oh, and I moved this anthurium from the other part of the garden, and it's getting a leaf. It's coming out of dormancy. I can't remember what type of anthurium that was, but it's very exciting to see it come out of dormancy. We finally took the philodendron compactum out of its pot and into the ground. Hasn't grown since, but it will be much happier now. The poor thing was so root bound into that pot. Then we've taken these spider plants from around the side and put them back here, and they've got all these new flowers. I didn't realize that spider plant flowered, so that's new to me. It's beautiful. In behind it, there's another elephant ear, another alocasia that I'm hoping eventually is going to be taller than the compactum, so it can cover up this area a little bit. And we also moved the bird of paradise from around the side as well, which hasn't grown since being here, but I'm sure it will. It's just taken a little bit of transplant shock. And this is where that begonia that's in a pot down under the pergola, that's where that's going to go to try to add some color to this area. And that is all, actually. The garden is really coming together. Honestly, if you haven't watched the last videos, I would really recommend it. It has changed so much. It's come so far. It's very exciting. But yeah, so that comes to the end of my December garden tour. We are coming into the heat though, so I hope my next tour isn't a whole bunch of crunchy plants, but at this stage, it very well could be. But thank you so much for being here. Once again, if you've made it this far, I appreciate it. Feel free to leave any criticism, any tips, any advice. You know, I want to hear it all. I'm learning and I want to learn from everybody else. That's what I'm doing this for. But yeah, thank you for being here. As always, happy planting, and I'll see you next time.
So if you think this kitten's cute, also leave a like because look at her, you pray. You can't wait.